from Studio 13 in California, you're listening to Wildcard with your hosts, John.
The second page is the ransom how-to guide.
And Conor.
This is confessional time. You're not allowed to judge. So I goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh dear.
A show that hopes you'll still listen in a few years when it's actually good.
Hello, and welcome to Wildcard. I'm John, and we have got a doozy of an episode for you today. It starts off with yours truly being the victim of an extortion plot. That's right. They know about my secrets, and they've come for my money, which apparently my secrets are worth just over about $8,000. Conor continues to be disgusting as he recounts his latest visit to the doctor and receives a tub of some sort of body/undercarriage mayonnaise. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that disgusting story. Then we dive into the world of gay dating apps. We find out that if you want to set up that man sandwich in Cleveland, you're going to have to spring for Grindr Premium. All that and more on today's episode of Wildcard.
Can I just say one thing? I feel like that intro is making promises that I don't think we're going to be able to keep.
Your life is making promises that you can't keep.
I've developed a new habit of not promising anything because that way I can still typically underdeliver. But the intro says, listen in a few years when we're actually good. A, I don't think we're going to be speaking to each other in a few months, much less a few years. B, it's never going to be good.
Okay, you got me there. But it doesn't have the same panache, if you will.
Panache.
If I were to say, hey, listen in a few years when we're mediocre.
Or like, listen in a few weeks when we're still doing this but still suck.
Pretty much. The one thing about listening now that's different is, I don't know if you can tell, the audio is better because we are in a brand new studio.
Before we get off on the studio conversation, because it's amazing, why does that same guy elicit that same cheer every time? I mean, I don't want to badmouth our fine studio audience that's totally here in person and paid to come here and be a part of this massive entertainment powerhouse, but that guy always does the same cheer.
The same whoop?
Yes.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Yeah?
There's no actual audience.
God damn it.
That is a sound effect that was purchased for approximately $4.99 on the interwebs.
Can you maybe drop another $4.99 and get one that doesn't have this very identifiable whoop every time? Like just a basic clap?
No, he's a big fan.
He is a big fan.
I can't help. He's excited. He may be excited about the new studio.
I'm excited about the new studio.
Before, we were pretty much on top of each other to the point where our mics would pick up each other's conversation. Yeah. There was a lot of echo. It didn't sound professional. Now we've got, a full studio with lights, and we're going to be recording video. So as we get down the line, we're going to have those streaming on Facebook and YouTube and wherever the people with mustaches and scooters are these days.
So am I going to have to start wearing pants to this filming session? I didn't realize we were going to be recording this. I mean, with video.
We are. It's a good thing you showered before the show, which I must say is a little bit odd. I've never had someone show up at the studio and then instantly be like, hey, before we get going, I'm going to require a shower.
We're going to do this now?
Well,
we're going to do this now?
No, we can do this later. I've got a number of items to cover.
I'm going to need to warm up before we get to... It's a little sensitive.
A little sensitive? Okay.
Yeah. I will explain the shower in a later segment. I'm really going to need to get warmed up for that one. It's delicate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have, as I've said many times, I have many questions, but that is the whole point of our show.
I don't want to build it up too much because I'm going to underdeliver, but I can't. I'm not in the right headspace yet.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since we've been able to tape. I've actually been moving, which, as anyone that has moved, is a barrel of laughs. It's super fun.
I don't think you're allowed to complain about moving because you do it twice a year. So if you really disliked it, you would stop doing it. You moved 3 houses down.
You'll learn something if you ever get married. Although, wow, again, more questions because I don't know if marriages are the same if you were married to a guy. But when you're married to a woman, you realize that you don't really have much choice in the matter because if you wish to stay married, your answer is yes.
I'll start packing the boxes.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to think through in my head, and I'm sure I'm missing some. I can think of, in the time that you have been dating and now married to Judy, 9 different houses?
9? No.
Yeah, I think
not
so.
possible.
I mean, I don't want to disclose all of your residences on the international interweb airways, but there was that one, and then you went to Austin for like 2 months. You had a going away party, and I think by the time we recovered from our hangovers from your going away party, you had already moved back.
Yeah. I didn't want to. I love Texas. I love kind of openness. I love being a pretend cowboy is pretty cool. I mean, I kind of feel douchey here, but there you can feel douchey and free, and like you have land and cattle that I don't have. But it felt like I was in Texas. Even though you live in Austin, where basically
you might as well be in Northern California.
Exactly. Yeah. You might as well be at a hipster bar with skinny jeans and Pabst Blue Ribbon and all this stuff.
You're in the Berkeley of the South.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you shunned by your fellow Texans when you travel outside of Austin?
Only if you refuse to make fun of all the hippie queers in Austin. If you're just like, oh, they are so hippie and so queer, sir. And do you want to go shoot revolvers with me? That's pretty much what
Dick
you have
Cheney. I like to spend my free time clearing brush. I say that actually because this week the apple tree at my parents' house fell down. It was like 65-year-old apple tree. And I took on the project of buying a chainsaw. Not a real chainsaw, it was an electric one, because I try to be tough, but really I am a douche.
Wow, an electric chainsaw?
Yeah, it's kind of like if you get a drill, but it's a corded drill, and you call it a screw gun.
It's like being a really into paintball.
Yeah, but like too much into it,
and expecting people to thank you for your service.
Right. Like wearing camouflage on the flight because you do paintball.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that's my electric chainsaw. I bought it, but I'll tell you what, it was actually pretty nice. It makes this sweet noise. So I cut down the apple tree, and I was clearing the brush, and I did kind of feel like George W. for a while. But you know, in like every truck ad since ever, they have a chain wrapped around a tree stump, and they're pulling the tree stump out of the ground.
That is the first thing you must do with every pickup truck in Texas, is pull a stump from your yard.
And I thought this was my perfect chance to prove that I have one testicle at least. And so I get my truck, which by the way, my truck is awesome, and I hook it up to the tree stump, and like I've cut off most of the branches, and I wrap the tow chain around real good, put my truck in 4-wheel drive low, and the truck is like, that thing could pull the freaking house off of its foundation if you wanted to. It wouldn't even notice. So the truck was not going to stop. Turned out the tow rope was, though. That exploded and nearly killed a passing dog, and the carabiner
my God.
The carabiner on the end of the tow rope shot back at me in the truck, hit the bumper, and I have this perfectly shaped carabiner dent in the bumper now. Meanwhile, the tree stump is still there.
Yeah, if I'm going to pull a stump, I'm not going to leave it to a Northern California gay guy with an electric chainsaw. So I want to read something here that I found absolutely hilarious, and well done, anonymous person that did this.
Oh, God.
So my wife got this in the mail. This is a letter that I received.
This isn't viewer mail, is it?
No, it's not viewer mail. So my wife throws this down. It has my name and address on the top. Hello, John. I'm going to cut to the chase. My name is Blue Dust 89, and I know about the secrets you are keeping from your wife and everyone else. More importantly, I have evidence of what you have been hiding. I won't go into specifics here in case your wife intercepts this, but you know what I am talking about. You don't know me personally, and nobody hired me to look into you, nor did I go out looking to burn you. It's just your bad luck that I stumbled across your misadventures while working a job around Novato. I then put in more time than I probably should have looking into your life. Frankly, I'm ready to forget all about you and let you get on with your life. And I'm going to give you 2 options that will accomplish that very thing. Those 2 options are to either ignore this letter or simply pay me $8,350.
It's so specific.
That's so specific. It's funny when the ransom gets down to like 50.
Yeah.
Like why not $9,000? Yeah. Why not 10? Why 83.50?
You know what, sir? My secrets are only worth paying you $7,000. I'm sorry.
Seriously. Let's examine these 2 options in more detail. A lot of effort has gone into this, and hats off to him for the English. I really expected this to be way worse.
And he mailed this all the way from Nigeria? Man, they're getting sophisticated.
The English is not bad. I mean, he said intercepts. He wrote misadventures. That's
fancy.
That's a $5 word.
Well, they got that Google Translator now, so the ransoms are getting much better. You know, the other thing that I think is fun is how it's like fill in the blank. So it's like, hello, John. We know about your secrets regarding gay sex and stuff. We are sending you this letter in Novato. Please send us $8,329
and 36 cents. Option 1. So, I mean, it's really in depth. It's 2 pages, single spaced.
No, it looks like it goes on the back there.
Oh, that's the ransom. I'm sorry. The second page is the ransom how-to guide. We'll get there.
Okay.
I love that they call it how-to guide. It's fucking fantastic.
This is so well done. I kind of want to pay him.
So do I. Not that much. If it was like $200, I'd pay him.
You know what? Okay. Did you ever see the movie Proof of Life? No, you didn't, because nobody did. But it was Russell Crowe.
Did it involve Liam Neeson and his third child taken?
It was before Liam Neeson's daughter kept getting taken. It was Russell Crowe.
The bitch needs to stay home.
Seriously. It was Russell Crowe, and who was the redheaded guy, Caruso or something, who left NYPD Blue at the top?
Yes, with the sunglasses?
Yes!
Dun, dun.
Yeah, and then the sunglasses? Then it would go to the Doors song or whatever. That guy left that show. He's in this movie with Russell Crowe. It's called Proof of Life, and the point is, somebody gets kidnapped, and they're like, prove to us that the person is still alive. So I want to start correspondence with this person.
Okay.
We need to write back. Do we have a return address? Is that in the how-to?
No, we don't, because they've gotten a little bit better here.
Oh.
But I think... Here's the thing. They want us, and I want to continue reading the letter, but they want us to pay in Bitcoin. This is very 2018.
Yeah.
They want us to pay in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin addresses are anonymous. But
oh my God,
the thing is,
digits.
They're not anonymous because there are actually companies out there that and I'm totally going off on a tangent here, but because of the
far
way,
be it from us.
addresses for Bitcoin are kind of the same way. You can look at who interacts with the different wallets, et cetera. And even though they're anonymized, there are programs that will actually tell you who it is. Mm-hmm. So we should actually pay. I think it's like $100 or $200.
Let's do it.
We should pay to find out who this person is and email them and ask them about my secrets.
So there's no return address?
No.
We can't go that route.
We can't. But we haven't examined option 1.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I want to engage this person in a conversation, and my proof of life point is I want to get some of the evidence that they have on you. Like, well, tell me what it is.
We have to. We have to pull it out slowly.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Is this about the time...
Pull it out slowly like a gentleman.
Is this about the time I got that hooker?
Yeah. Oh, no. Never mind. Is this about my illegitimate daughter?
Which one is it?
Yeah.
Oh, sir, your price just went up. We're going to talk about...
What accent was that?
I'm trying to... Look, it's the era...
I'm sorry, is Apu holding you for ransom right now?
Oh, sir, you are very, very in trouble.
God knows the secrets that those people keep.
Okay, what accent can I do that is not racialist?
You know what? Just don't do an accent. Just don't.
But it makes it more... But how will they know that when I'm the bad guy?
Your voices aren't good anyway.
How about this? Hold on. Wait for it. How about this one? Is that any better?
No, I want you to sound more like the Scream guy.
Let's try this.
He's in your house, Becky.
I'm in your house. Whoa,
that just kind of hurts. I feel like maybe we should...
How about this? Okay, let's shit can
Maybe we should take this one off the air.
Yeah, I got to figure out what all these do first.
Yeah, so we'll cut that. I got to figure out what all these do. Let's get back to the letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Option 1. I like how they lay this out so succinctly in the different options. Let me, sir, who I am extorting, let me walk you through your thought process here. Option 1 is to ignore this letter. Let me tell you what will happen if you choose this path. I will take this evidence and send it to your wife. And as insurance against you intercepting it before your wife gets it, I will also send copies to her friends, family, and your neighbors on or around your street.
I thought they were going to get insert address.
They did. I just don't want to give my actual address.
Gotcha.
We'll call it Mulberry Lane.
Well, you move so much. By the time this airs, you'll be in a different place.
Good point. So, John, even if you decide to come...
Good use of commas, ransom guy.
It's really,
They've really stepped up their game.
We need to submit this to a high school English teacher and get a grade on it.
It makes me think perhaps you're being held ransom by a native English speaker.
If you decide to come clean with your wife, it won't protect her from the humiliation she will feel when her friends and family find out your sordid details from me. Option 2 is to pay me $8,350.
69 cents.
We'll call this my confidentiality fee. Now, let me tell you what happens if you choose this path. Your secret remains your secret. You go on with your life as though none of this ever happened. It sounds so pleasant and peaceful. Though you may want to do a better job keeping your misdeeds secret in the future. At this point, you may be thinking, I'll just go to the cops. Which is why I've taken steps.
I like your internal monologue voice. I'll just go to the cops.
Well, they're putting everything in quotes, like it's.
You need to voice your characters. I hear you.
Which is why I've taken steps to ensure this letter cannot be traced back to me. So that won't help. Don't even try.
Oh, we're gonna try, sir.
It also won't stop the evidence from destroying your life. I'm not looking to break your bank. I just want to be compensated for the time I have put into investigating you. That's the best. I want to be compensated for the time I've spent trying to ruin your fucking life.
This is a hardworking ransomer. All right?
Look, I gave you a fucking ransom how-to guide.
Yeah.
I want some damn Bitcoin.
I'm trying to make this easy for you here, fella.
Look, you troglodyte, cheating whore with an illegitimate child.
We don't know if it's cheating. We don't know what
That's
it
true.
is.
These transgressions are secret. Let's assume you've decided to make all this go away and pay me the confidentiality fee, in keeping with my strategy to not go to jail. We will not meet in person, and there will be no physical exchanges.
Oh, I want a physical exchange.
Hey. Oh my. You will pay me anonymously.
I'll make a deposit.
This is going. You will pay me anonymously using Bitcoin. If you want me to keep your secret, send me $8,350 in Bitcoin to the receiving address below. And the address, if anyone wants to know, will be posted on our website. Tell no one that you will be using... that's my addition. I will post the wallet address if anyone wants to do some digging and find out who this...
Oh, yeah, you lost me there. So you're going to pay them via Bitcoin.
So they post the wallet address here.
Right.
I'm going to put it on our site in case anyone wants to go research this bag of dicks.
Let's crowdsource this so we don't have to pay for shit.
This bag of dicks.
Yeah, we don't have $100.
No.
We're already in the whole $8,300.
No. You think this wall foam bought itself?
It's not cheap. And let's be honest, I got some ransoms of my own.
Tell no one what you will be using the Bitcoin for, or they may not give it to you. I think he's just saying, don't tell the Bitcoin people that you're using this to pay a hostage ransom.
Yeah,
the
one thing I've heard about Bitcoin is that it's very well regulated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, being that it's decentralized and not controlled by intergovernment.
Totally.
Yeah. The procedure to obtain Bitcoin can take a day or two, so don't put it off. Start now.
I feel
it's
like
a diet plan.
That should be in the how-to guide. He's getting into the how and not the why.
The payment must be received within 10 days of the postmark of this letter.
What was the postmark of this letter?
I don't have it.
Are we in delinquency here?
We're close.
Oh, God, your secrets are
The
coming
clock
out.
is ticking, John. Okay, page 2.
So personal.
Also known as Ransom How-To Guide. That is the fucking title.
It's page 2 and 3.
You're right. It's double-sided.
This is double-sided. Are you going to read this whole thing?
I'm not going to.
Can we skim to the highlights?
I just find it interesting. There are 22 steps to the Ransom How-To Guide.
Make it easier.
How about ATM, a lot of cash. I hand it to you in a poorly lit parking lot.
Yeah, and hope that you don't stab me. I mean, just for the sake of not having to do 22 steps, I'm probably just going to say, you know what? Let the illegitimate child out of its cage.
I'm kind of on the same page. Seriously, and again, we can post this on our website, but if you read through all of the steps of this, go to localbitcoins.com. Under Quick Buy tab, type required amount. The amount box will appear. It's set up for USD. Please select USD. And it goes on for 2 pages.
I'm already bored. I'm already over it. Yeah.
And the sad part is anyone that falls for this is like a grandfather, a cheating grandfather who has no clue how to do the Bitcoin.
Right. He's gonna fall apart on step 3. Also, I'm pretty sure that you can get divorced in like 17 steps. So just for the sake of saving the 5 steps, I'm going for the divorce.
And that's a win-win.
Yeah.
The divorce, because then you're divorced.
Well,
and you keep your Bitcoin. And you keep your $8,300.
And you can continue doing your sordid misdeeds.
Yes, the secrets.
Yes.
Oh, the secrets.
I do, however, feel like I've
secrets.
heard that divorces cost a little bit more than $8,300. Do the kids count as assets or liabilities?
Liabilities.
So, okay. So, like, if she takes the kids, you have to pay her?
Pretty much. Oh. Because the person who doesn't gets the kids have to pay because kids are terrible.
Kids are terrible, right?
I mean, the thing is they're, and this is going to be totally uninteresting to anyone listening, but they're really,
pretty really standard fare here.
Loving and sweet. And
yeah, you've lost me now.
We went to New York, and I won't bore you with the details of that. My family did for spring break, and we were on the plane flight, and there was as I'm walking up to the gate for early boarding with my entire family and young children, they made an announcement. Today will be a full flight, and just to let you know, there are 28 children. And I was just like sitting there. I publicly apologized to the entire gate that I was contributing to that, because it's just like, you are screwed. 5-hour plane flight with 27 or 28 children or something. One of the interesting things is when we were in New York, we ended up staying in the Trump International Hotel.
Yeah.
And
I heard it burned down?
No, the Trump Tower burned down.
Oh.
This is not a political endorsement, nor do I really want to get Donald Trump political on this show, because it's so polarizing and no one's going to convince anyone either way. But I don't think many of his supporters have internet. I've heard, though, that if they attach 2 Mountain Dew bottles with a string, they're able to communicate to each other. It was really interesting because we've stayed there for a long time, and I've got a little bit of history with Trump being on The Apprentice and so on. And New York...
Have we ever explained that on the show?
No.
I don't think we have. So, let me just jump in here. John was on 3.5 episodes of The Apprentice back in season 2 in like 2004, when people actually watched...
And or 6, but that's
whatever.
Fine.
When people actually watched the show, and he was like, "Hey, everybody, I'm John. I'm a marketing executive," which meant like he bought a house with our rich friend Riaz, and they marketed it on Craigslist, and he was an executive, and he ended up getting fired in the episode when they had to like do a fashion design thing.
Yes, I lost because I, on a team of men, designed women's clothing for a runway show against a team of women.
But and I will agree with you on this one. At the time and subsequent to this, you said like they realized that they fired me too soon because I made good TV. And the truth is, you actually did. You were more entertaining than most of those donkey lips. So they brought you back for like the all-star fired people come back. And
well, I didn't learn. It's fascinating, and we really should spend a whole show on this.
We should.
Mostly because I'm a self-centered narcissist,
right,
and I like talking about myself.
Which is why you created a podcast just to talk about yourself.
Basically.
Yeah. And brought me in just to provide comic relief.
There's so much that goes on that I didn't realize. You have to remember that going back, God, what is this, 10 years ago?
It's a dozen years
More
now.
than that, almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Reality TV wasn't reality TV like it is now. There was one show, and that was Survivor, and it had come out like 2 years before that or something.
Well, there was some. You had like Real World,
yes,
and I think like VH1 was doing some of its garbage then, where they had like Jose Canseco.
Yes,
and
The Surreal Life, which I got asked to be on The Surreal Life.
That's right, I remember that. Yeah,
after,
you were a big enough, and please note my air quotes here, celebrity, that they wanted you to be on the Celebrity House VH1.
Isn't it amazing how fast one star can fall?
Rise and fall.
Yes.
So you would have been bunking with like Ron Jeremy and Jose Canseco and Hobie from Baywatch,
and probably a Carter or like an ex O-Town member. My girl like to wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
Guys, who's been drinking my skinny girl margarita? It's time for conflict.
You talk about reality TV, and it wasn't then what it is now, and there wasn't this path to being... There was no such thing as a reality star. It didn't exist. I went on it purely because I thought it was kind of... Game show isn't the right word, but I was competitive, and I wanted to win, and that's why I went on it. And hence the reason I didn't end up doing things like The Surreal Life and all the different kind of...
Okay, I'm calling bullshit on this one.
Okay.
You called me and asked me to be part of your group application for that reality movie that MTV did that was like Spring Break. It was the first and only reality movie because it turns out nobody wants to pay money to go watch somebody else go on vacation.
I remember. I totally forgot about this.
Yeah. Oh, I did.
Now, I have a defense for this.
No.
I have a defense for this.
I want to finish my explanation first, because this was a real thing. This was like 2002 or 2003, and they were going around to colleges in California, because I remember they came to UCLA, and they must have gone to Cal too, because you and your friends put together a group, and it was, they have their stereotypes, they have their characters, right? And so you were like the jock guy, and then there was like the nerdy guy, and you guys applied, and you got pretty far along, and the producers told you, we're looking for a virgin. And at this point, my landline lights up, and John's on the other end, and you start with the sales pitch, and you're like, I got this great opportunity. I'm going to make you famous. So we're going to be in this movie, and me and my friends, we put together this group, and we just need one more person, and I thought you'd be perfect. And I'm like, okay, what do you need? And like, well... No, it doesn't have to be true. I'm not going to ask if it's true or not, but we need a virgin who's pathetic. And I thought of you.
Yeah. I had completely forgotten about that. You needed to be the awkward virgin.
Yeah.
That whole thing, in my defense, I want that to be real because it makes me even douchier than I already am. That was actually one of the guys in our house had been on Road Rules.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was asked, like his agent asked, and they came to the house, and I think it was one of the Hiveleys or something.
Yeah.
Came in and they're
That's
like,
a friend of ours.
One of the Hiveleys, and I think the guy who started Warby Parker also was in on this.
I think it was. He was the nerdy guy.
Who's now like a billionaire.
Yeah, because you guys, because I remember the pitch. It was like Dave Gilboa got a 1600 on the SAT. That's back when it was out of 1600, so that's a lot.
Now it's like out of 100,000.
Yeah, the millennials are like, I got 4,700.
And it gives you positive affirmations
and
every
a
time
participation
you get
trophy.
A wrong answer.
Because I showed up. But no, at the time, so that was a perfect score at the time, a million years ago, because we're old. So it was like Dave Gilboa was the nerdy guy. You were like the handsome jock. I'm on the rugby team. And then I don't remember who else was in the group, but then they were like, we need the awkward virgin. And that was going to be me. So I bring this up because when you say, oh, I just wanted to be on The Apprentice because it was a competition I thought I was going to win, I'm calling shenanigans 100% on that because I'm pretty sure, I know that you tried to be on that real world spring break thing or whatever you made me apply for.
Does your application to be on Jeopardy make you as douchey as me?
It does not.
Damn it.
That just makes me super smart. I remember when I went to apply to be on Jeopardy, they take you in for like if you do a written test, and if you do well on that, which of course I did, you go in for a screen test, and I had a zinger. They were like, yeah, so we look for people who don't just know the answers or the questions, I guess, in Jeopardy's case, but we also want people with personality.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that from watching the show.
And I know. It's a low bar. And I was like, oh, ma'am, I have lots of personality. None of it's any good, but I have lots. And she took her pen out and was like, scribble, scribble, scribble. And suffice to say, I didn't get a call back.
That was the best material I've heard in 6 months.
Yeah, who's this guy? Take him to the championship round. So,
but
I'm sorry.
let me get back to the Trump a little bit because I felt bad before when The Apprentice was on. It was actually a really interesting story, and I'm going to try to have him on the show. There's a producer named Bill Pruitt who actually had a tweet that went pretty wide talking about all the tapes that they had of Trump.
Oh.
Because when you run tape is cheap. And when you're running a show, it's running all the time.
Yeah.
And apparently tons of extremely racist stuff and all kinds of stuff. And the tapes will never see the light of day because Trump's an executive producer on The Apprentice. But anyway, I'd love to have Bill on the show. We've stayed friendly over the years, and I'm gonna reach out to him. Anyway, I keep digressing, which is Trump used to be this name in New York that was hugely positive, and it was all people respected him. They thought he was a good businessman. They thought he was a good builder, a good real estate developer.
Well, he did a lot of good for Manhattan,
like Woolman Rink, and a lot of the rehabilitation of a lot of the sites in New York. And so the people that worked at places like the Trump International Hotel, the people that owned apartments in, I think it's like Trump Riverfront or something, which is an apartment complex where I used to live with Beyonce, which is another story.
Yeah.
But these things were positives. Right. And if you worked at the Trump International Hotel, it was something to be proud of. And all these celebrities would come, and you could feel really good about your job. It was one of the top jobs in the city to get. Jean Georges, one of the best restaurants in all of Manhattan, is in the Trump International. Mm-hmm. Now you go there. There are no celebrities. They're all gone.
Yeah.
And the people that work there, and a lot of them are Hispanic or immigrants. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going like, these people have these jobs. They probably worked really hard and were very proud of it. And and I'm not going to talk to them about it because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. And I'm sure they can't say anything anyway.
Yeah.
But my heart just breaks for them. It's just like you have to walk around with this Trump logo on your shirt and all the things that have been said. Ugh. And you have to stand out there with the people basically throwing things at you just because you have a job.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just felt really bad for the people that either owned apartments or worked at these establishments that have a completely different life now because of this.
Do you think, not that an apartment in Manhattan is ever a bad investment, but do you think the apartments in those buildings have gone down in value?
100% they have.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot the Trump buildings on Riverside, and they've tried to actually remove the Trump name.
Yeah.
Somebody else, in fact, a guy recently died in the fire in Trump Tower.
Yeah.
Had his apartment on the market, but couldn't get it sold because it's in Trump Tower.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what apartments in that building are, tens of millions of dollars. And the guy couldn't get it sold because it has a Trump name attached to it. I mean, that guy's taken a $10-20 million hit because of it. I'm not
going to shed a lot of tears, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
There's a lot of fallout and a lot of people who are not Trump supporters that are taking a huge toll because of that. And it's very interesting, and I felt bad for a lot of the people there. And
I mean, what once was identified with sort of the economic resurgence of Manhattan is now identified with xenophobia and division. And I mean, it's sad, obviously, but
well, you love my transitions, and I think we should wash ourselves of all things Trump, as you did with your shower when you first got here. Let's talk about why.
Was that your segue?
It was pretty bad.
That was awful.
I'm sorry.
So, John,
I feel like there's a revelation. Do we need soft music? I have soft music.
No.
Do we need sexy music?
I want sports music, and I'll tell you why.
I don't have that, but I have this.
Want like the... No, definitely not appropriate. Definitely.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure.
It's soothing.
What I'm about to say is the last thing from soothing.
Should we try it with the music or no?
We should not. I need sport. I need like the NBA, the John Tesh one that he wrote that's like do.
All I have this. Gay stuff.
No, it's not that.
I also have... Oh, how bad is this? I have this.
No, because that just reminds me of when we did the eulogy for Craigslist Personals, which, by the way, Craigslist Personals, I think, is still up.
I think they're still up for a while. They haven't taken them down yet.
So we still have some last chances to make connections.
That's true.
Okay, so John is right. Before we started filming today, I showed up at the studio and said, hey, I can't go on mic yet. I need to shower. And John was like,
it's off-putting.
I don't really get it, but let me get you a dirty towel, which after I explain this, you're going to throw the towel away. John, since we are on microphone. And
do we want to guess? Do we want to play any sort of... No, we just want to get straight to it?
No, I just want to get straight.
Okay.
I need to get this off my chest. Literally and figuratively.
Gross.
John, since we are on microphone and not video, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sports telecasting what I'm about to do for the sake of our listeners. And additionally, could I request that you do it in the overly excited voice of a Mexican soccer announcer?
I don't know enough Spanish, but we can absolutely do that. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a revelation from Conor. He is on the microphone. He's very, very close.
Maybe just the enthusiasm, but
not the accent.
Not the super awkward racist-y accent.
It's a beautiful afternoon here, and we're going to talk to Conor Johnson. We're going to find out what happened with him at the doctor. He's going to the doctor. He's taking his shirt off. His shirt's off. Now his pants are coming off. The doctor is getting a glove. Okay. The doctor says your prostate is very enlarged.
Okay.
Am I getting any part of it right?
Perfect.
Okay.
So now I'm going to take my headphones off for the sake of a demonstration, and just...
Oh, so that's what I need to do the announcing
You're just going to announce.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he is taking a sip of his coffee. I feel like I want to do golf announcing.
That's fine. Okay. If that's more comfortable for you, please point out the awkward and trepidatious look on my face and the shame which I am about to exude in all directions.
Ladies and gentlemen, he does look uncomfortable. This is a fairly standard look for Conor. We've seen over the years that he can be shy and awkward, and he's standing. I'm now getting nervous. We're in a closed room, and okay, ladies and gentlemen, the shirt is coming off. I'm seeing, oh my, dots. There are dots everywhere. He has like nipples all over. Oh my gosh. Are those scabies? Or is that gonorrhea? Do you have raging syphilis? So he's got his shirt off. Please don't take any other articles of clothing off. He's now motioning in a circular motion around his, implying that the entire body rash is covering his inguinal region, his bollocks, his rectus, abdominis. Wow. Can you?
So I goes to the doctor.
Can you sanitize your hands before touching those earphones?
So I goes. Oh, they're on. It's all over my ears too. In fact, it's really bad behind my ears, which is weird. I feel like I'm.
Why did you use my towel? And where did you put it?
I told you were going to want to throw it away. So
what in God's name is that?
So I goes to the doctor yesterday, and mind you, my boyfriend is a doctor, so I had some advanced intel on what I was walking into. But I don't know if you know this, but it's actually very common for people to get skin infections. It's actually not an infection, it's psoriasis, after they get strep throat. So back on New Year's of 2009, I had a sordid, as your ransomer would say, affair in the bathroom of our friend's house.
Would you say it's a secret?
No, it's not a secret.
Is it worth $8,350?
There were many pictures on MySpace at the time, and no, it was worth far less than that. I was not good at those things. I had a sordid interaction with a young co-ed in the bathroom of our friend's house.
So you are not a gold star gay?
Oh, far from. No. I did quite well with the ladies. Hey, how's it going? So I had this interaction with this young woman in the bathroom for 5 or 6 minutes.
So romantic.
Oh, super romantic, right? And at one point we flushed the toilet so people out in the hall couldn't hear what was going on.
Thought you were taking dumps together?
We'll be out in a minute. We're using the toilet.
That conceals it.
We're two in the front seat, back seat.
It's just me and this hefty gal are just taking alternating shits.
She was hot. She was not. I mean, I did kind of have a thing for the larger women, but she...
See, that's just wrong. You're taking that from
someone who might actually enjoy the activity.
Actually enjoyed it.
Well, I had to keep appearances up, all right?
And gotten the huge scabies body rash.
I had peer pressures. Will you turn that off? It's making me uncomfortable.
This is where Yanni really takes it home.
Is this Yanni?
I don't know.
I like his later
John
work.
Tesh?
Please turn it off. So I had this sordid, this is going to be my new word, sordid, this sordid affair with this young woman. And a few days later, I developed just a horrendous tonsil infection. Like my whole throat swelled up. The glands are all swollen. And you look inside your throat and it looks like you have 2 pieces of cauliflower wedged in the back of your throat because it's like you're growing like mushrooms on your tonsils. Awful. It was super painful. It felt like my head was going to explode.
I have never had a venereal disease in my mouth, so I actually don't know what you're talking about.
I actually don't think that's true, but we'll move on because we're talking about my venereal diseases today. So I get this tonsil infection, and long story short, I get treatment. It eventually goes away, but every year or so, it would come back. I would have a tonsil infection, and it's not a big deal. You take some penicillin for a few days, it goes away, right? It's crappy, but it goes away. And it's not like a sore throat. It's more like it's just super painful. You don't have a cough, but it's just like super painful, and it feels like your throat is swelling up like you got stung by a bee in the jugular and you're allergic to bees and you're pretty sure you're going to die. It kind of feels like that. So that happens every year or two. Recently, it's been less and less frequent, but 3 years ago was the last time it happened. And it happened, it went away. But I got these weird red dots on my right buttocks cheek for like a month and a half. And my boyfriend at the time wasn't exactly sure what it was, but his classmate, he was a 3rd-year med student at the time, was like, "Oh, that's a gut-tape psoriasis." Yeah, because it's secondary to strep infection. So it's very common actually to get psoriasis after you get strep. I got it about a month ago. I got the throat swelled up. I took the pills, and maybe a week later, I'm like, why do I have so much chest pimples? Why do I have this shoulder knee? And
gross.
And
That's really, really gross.
Bicep pimples. And then I start to realize, this is much worse than I had expected.
What did you think it was? I mean, I still don't know what it is.
Well, at first, I thought that I just had terrible body acne, which is understandable because I'm not good at the showering thing or the exfoliating, and I'm basically an overgrown teenager. So I was like, I'm just getting the chimples, but there were a lot of chimples, and then they started to spread, and so here's where it gets weird. So there are these red sores on the wang, several of them. So I goes to the doctor yesterday, and the doctor calls in the dermatologist. Please don't make that face. This is awkward enough as it is. This is confessional time. You're not allowed to judge. So I goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh dear.
Now, did you show him your chem?
I did, and he's like my age and kind of attractive, and he's poking around with it. And
now, do you ever chub up before your physical?
you try, right? You try.
I usually get so nervous that it goes in it's like turtle dick.
Exactly.
It like goes into its home.
Exactly.
And you're just like, this is a bad showing. This isn't even me on an average day.
It's usually at least 2 or 2.5 inches, sir. Trust me. It's much better than this. Please note that it's not always a turtle head. So he's like poking around at it. By the way, one time I went to a urologist who was like this 6'4" black dude. He was all jacked, and I'm like, did you really have to go into urology? Really? Like, do you know how uncomfortable this is for me? Knowing that inside your head you are laughing at my inadequacy right now, the way that most people have laughed outside their head for all my life.
Look at that cute little thing this guy brought in.
Like, did you leave the rest of it in your car?
That's so cute. Does it work?
It's like a bonsai tree. So he's poking around at it, and there's red dots all over the wang. And
did you show this to your doctor boyfriend, or did you like, I'm keeping this shit secret?
Let's not get into that. So the doctor calls in the dermatologist, and she has me take my shirt off, and she's poking around, and she says, well, see, the thing is, it's definitely psoriasis. Like, we had pretty much established that. And she goes, the thing is, psoriasis is chronic. It's lifelong. So, yeah, we can give you some cream and stuff to treat it, but it may not work. It may not go away. And she's like, the best treatment is UV. So, if you go out in the sun, that's good treatment. And I'm like, oh, great. So my socially crippling, disgusting disorder is best treated by showing it to a bunch of people in public.
Especially your penis covered in sores.
Awesome. I'll get right on that, doc. And then the general...
Jersey Shore, here I come.
Yeah. So the general practitioner who had just finished fondling me is sitting in the corner.
And then feverishly washing his hands.
Oh, he burned that glove. He just couldn't get that thing off fast enough. He goes, yeah, and he's got some weird red dots on his hoo-ha, medical term. And at this point I chimed in and I was like, yeah, I think that might be herpes because just the way it looks. And she goes, no, the thing is, herpes goes away much faster. It usually only lasts for like a week.
Oh, man.
And as I said, the psoriasis is chronic. So I walk out of the doctor's office thinking the worst thought that could ever go through someone's mind, which is, man, I really wish that was dick herpes.
Oh man, that is a bad diagnosis. When you walk out and you're bummed that you don't have herpes.
Don't have dick herpes.
Well, sir, I'm sorry. What you have, the good news is you actually do not have herpes. What you have is something that appears to be herpes,
but is much worse.
But doesn't go away.
Yeah, ever.
And unlike herpes, we don't have a pill or a cream that can make it go away.
This really doesn't go away.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And what sucks worse is, like, if I had that, I'm married, so no one gives a shit anyway.
Yeah.
Because no one gets to see what's doing anymore. I mean, I guess they see it, but it just doesn't get used. But with you, apparently based on, like, the grinders and the stories that I hear, the idea is to maybe use it. This is not gonna go over well.
No, I'm going into the priesthood. Well, that's probably the wrong analogy because they do a lot of gay stuff. But I am.
You don't want to expose this to the children. Haven't they suffered enough?
Yeah, you're right. I am. I don't know. Who are people who don't have sex? I'm
married people. Just marry your boyfriend and you're good.
I'm getting married. So they send me down to the pharmacy. And first of all, they give me cortisone, which I don't know if the average person knows. Cortisone is a steroid, right? So I have to...
It should be relabeled Dr. fucking gave up.
Right.
Because anytime you have a disease or...
Cortisone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
put some cream on it.
Just put some cortisone on it. The stuff is magical though. Like, oh, your elbow's broken? Rub some cortisone on that. It'll fix it. It's basically like the what was that? The
therapeutic range is like leprosy.
Yeah. Which is basically what I have, right? I look like a freaking leper. So they give me that to rub on the hoo-ha, which is awesome because now my wang is going to get super buff. But the other thing they gave me, which I brought today because I figured you wouldn't believe me, was, I'm not kidding, I didn't even know pharmacies had an item this large. It's like an off citronella candle jug of some goop that I now have to smear all over my body. It's like a keg of mayonnaise. It's like pharmaceutical grade mayonnaise.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just set it down on the table.
Oh.
He's like, you know when you go to McDonald's and you order like 6 family meals and McDonald's actually has a grocery bag, a takeout. You hardly ever see them except when you're high and you order everything on the menu. I had to leave the pharmacy with one of those.
Oh my God. Sir, even the pharmacist was like, I'm sorry, my friend, I've done this for 20 years, but you're fucking gross.
Yeah, you're going to need to leave now, sir. This is too much.
He just starts spritzing his counter with like alcohol.
So, you know when you go to pick up your medication at the pharmacy and the clerk is like, do you need a pharmacy consultant, where they actually bring
You're
the
like,
pharmacist?
Dear God, no, I want no one in line to hear what I'm getting.
I said, yeah, that might help because this is a lot of stuff. And the guy's like,
you're a better man than I would have put it on. I would have taken the risk of completely fucking it up by just stuffing it in the bag and running out.
I am way past shame here. So he's like, do you want a consult? And I was like, yeah, that might help. And he goes, no.
He just said no.
just take your family bag of mayonnaise and get out of here and don't touch anything on your way out.
Excuse me, sir. Would you take your penis balm and leave the store now?
So, excuse me.
Your kind aren't wanted here.
The correct term is penis steroid. So anyway, when I got up to
I'm just imagining, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but I'm just imagining the level of self-shame when one gets out of a shower, stands there in a mirror covered in blisters, opens a jar of body mayo, like 3 finger scoops it. Not like, how like you squeeze a little tube on your finger.
This is not a dollop.
This is like a 3 finger scoop, like a Miracle Whip.
This is like the pile of butter you get on your pancakes at IHOP.
Starts leathering up yourself. I mean, that is a level of shame I'm glad I don't yet know.
The other thing is, a good archipelago of these red dots are on my back.
How do you mayo the back?
You don't, right? So you either have someone who's willing to do it for you, which I do not, nor would I ask anyone.
I've got the answer.
Okay.
Fat people have fat people things.
Yeah, a rag on a stick. I know.
Yes.
I've thought of that.
They have stores where they buy stuff for fat people because they can't do stuff like clip their toenails, wash their hem.
No, I know.
Anything.
Yeah, I know. But I also subscribe to this theory that if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. So I'm just going to worry about the front area. And if I still have the archipelago of herpes on my back, like that's the people behind me's problem.
In a way, you've kind of got an A/B test.
Explain.
Or should I say gross and grosser? So
I feel like we ventured pretty far into grosser.
The front region can be the A. Mm-hmm. That is steroid. The back version can just be nature, God.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So pray to Jesus.
Yeah. Yes.
But pray only for the back.
Yeah.
So be like, Jesus,
please fix the back.
Almighty Lord and Savior, Carpenter.
Thank you for dying for my back herpes.
Thank you for giving me body herpes that is more permanent and visible than actual herpes.
I wish I had herpes.
Can you either give me real herpes and take this away, or can you make the balm work?
Can you please give me real herpes?
If the balm does not work, can you make the back herpes go away? Wow.
Please, I ask you, Jesus, can you refill my jug of mayonnaise?
Wow, I would love to see your Google search bar history.
Oh, it's not good. It's not good.
That would be... You know how they have autofill? I'm totally digressing here, but you know how they have autofill with Google, but it not only does predictive when you type it in, but it also will pull up like recent searches.
Right. Yeah.
Well, when you do screen shares... my wife was on a screen share and one of her coworkers screenshot it because you can install a Google plugin where it used to have a search bar like on the very top right of like Chrome browser, where instead of having to go to actual Google to search, it just had a little search window. You could search anytime. And the problem was his old search was left there. And so he was sharing his window on a conference call with like 20 people.
Oh, no.
And it said symptoms of like rectal bleeding or something.
Well, yeah, blood would be number one.
It was something like that. It was like a when to go to the doctor with rectal bleeding or something like that. and that's too long, but it was something of that ilk, and they were dying. Like it was everyone there saw it. And so I'm sure that your Google is equally as fantastic.
Screen share is basically the modern day Terminator. It is the most dangerous technology man has.
My paranoia with screen share, I literally am like going around. Do I have any like porno pop-ups that have like minimized to the bottom left that are just haunting me? Do I have any pop unders?
Yeah.
I look at all my web pages. Yeah. I'm paranoid.
Yeah, like you have to scrub the thing, like re-disk fragment the hard drive before you go anywhere near. Even if I'm on the receiving end, I'm like, are we sure this isn't going through?
Yes.
I feel the same way, even with little stuff. Like, somebody will ask you like, oh, do you have John's phone number? And so I will text the person and just attach John's contact card from my phone. But every time I go back and I check the contact card.
Make sure you didn't put my nickname as like
because I want to make sure the note isn't like giant douchebag who's a fame whore.
Well, in your defense, that is my nickname.
That's true.
Speaking of that, did you have any good screen names? Because they made me think of what you were talking about, that when we had like the Prodigy and all of those things, and when we were growing up, my screen name was Renob 69. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And do you remember what that is?
It's boner backwards.
It's boner spelled backwards.
Yeah.
The best name I could come up with to chat up girls in an AOL chat room when I was 12,
who, by the way, weren't girls.
Probably not. Was boner spelled backwards, and then to just a little topper there was the 69, because the boner was too subtle.
Yeah. You want to emphasize the point.
Well, the good thing is now that you have body herpes, I'm sure you'll develop some new nicknames post haste.
I actually could use the carpet that Chewbacca has to hide all of this herpes.
I'm pretty sure my college roommate, who was still a good friend, Elliot, and I think he was applying to like Goldman Sachs summer internship, like freshman or sophomore year, and he still had his email address, same type of thing.
Yeah.
Where you set it up, not ever being forward thinking and realizing I might have to like apply for jobs.
Well, also in our defense, it was a new thing when we were in high school. Email was we're old.
It was like your Snapchat login for the millennials now. It's like, I'm sure the Snapchat, the people that use it, I don't know what the names are on there, but I'm sure people have some stupid names.
I'm sure there's Renob69 probably on there. But I mean, we had pagers. We didn't know what this was.
His email, Elliot's email that he was applying to Goldman Sachs summer internships was LStud69.
No, it was not.
Yes, because Elliot, get it? See what he did there? LStud69.
LStud.
And I literally said, even the guy who had the screen name Boner was like, hey brother, you're probably going to want to spend 5 minutes and get a new email. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get the job.
They are free. I would encourage you to just sign up for a new one. We had a guy, and his was Cool Guy 42069.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow!
He hit the trifecta.
That is That is the horn of plenty.
Covered all of the bases.
Wow!
So he smokes marijuana and also likes to do sexual acts where people are inverted.
And the sad part is, nobody likes 69. It's like, this is terrible. I can't enjoy this. I can't multitask.
Like, I can't even go to a buffet and get salad and pork chops at the same time.
Yes.
How do you expect me to do this?
Yes.
Also, I've never done it with the females. But
their stuff is so complicated.
It's super complicated. I don't understand how those devices work. And like, apparently there's buttons that you have to press, and I don't know why do they make it so difficult? I'm
telling you, being gay is in some senses, you've won the lottery. It's fantastic.
Oh no, it's the best.
There is so many things that must be dealt with, and it's still a mystery to me. And you've got the equipment you're working with, so you know what?
We should do a whole episode on pluses and minuses of gay versus straight.
There wouldn't be that many minuses.
There are almost no minuses.
Now, body herpes, I would say is a minus, but apparently you got that.
I got that from
a woman.
From being allegedly straight.
She goes and tries to ruin a perfectly good guy.
I wouldn't go that far, but
that's a good point.
Lesson learned there, right? Just bang the dudes.
Well, if I ever develop full body scabies.
Well, just use that towel in your bathroom and you might.
Transition coming.
Oh.
Speaking of banging dudes, we had many requests.
Good one.
And I think it was our first or second episode.
Yeah.
You said that you should set up a Grindr for me.
Yeah.
So first, can we take the penis butter off of
I'm sorry,
the
you're talking about
table?
my jug of herpes mayonnaise?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me just lift this up the table.
Take the herpeo. Thank you. I couldn't stop staring at the undercarriage mayo, and that is just so gross.
I could put the undercarriage on the table if you'd really like a distraction.
Could you really? I'm not sure. That 6'4" black guy told me that would be a stretch. So I have a number of questions about the Grindr, whether we set it up or not.
Yeah.
Is
we're setting it up.
The people do all kinds of the dating apps, and I thankfully, thank God, I got married and did all of those things before the dating apps, because the dating apps are a disaster in my mind.
I don't agree, but I mean, to me, and I mean, I have some personal experience here, as we've discussed somewhat. To me, it's a facilitator, a medium like any other one, and I think it's kind of cool that you can have conversations with people remotely. And in many cases, in some measure of depth, before you actually meet them. So
there's a measure of depth, because I have so many questions about how Grindr functions. I have the same questions about Tinder. I ask my friends with Tinder all the time how this stuff works.
I mean, it depends, right? If
you've had substantive conversations on Grindr.
So I let that one pass the first time. Substantive. There we go. It depends on the people involved. I mean, it probably depends on the app too. I imagine on Christian Mingle, there's probably more conversation than Grindr. For the brief time that I was single and on apps, yeah, you can have some pretty long conversations. You kind of get to know the person.
Are there different apps besides Grindr that are like? Is there?
Jacked.
I'm pretty sure for Jacked.
I'm serious.
I'm pretty sure for. There's and I don't know the intricacies of each, but there's Plenty of Fish and Tinder and Thrinder for threesomes and all these different
really?
I heard that one on the radio. And there's all these different apps, and you got to be on the hip one. Bumble, where the girl meets the guy.
Yeah.
All these things. Is there the same plethora, or is everyone on Grindr, or are there apps where it's hey, I want to find someone to date, or I want to find someone to...
Well, I only really know of two, although I'm sure there are more. For the gay community, there's Grindr and Jacked, and I think Tinder has a gay section now.
And the difference between Grindr and Jacked, what is what's a Jacked day when you're just oh man, I need to get on Jacked? It sounds a little bit more to the point.
So Jacked is yeah, I still want to bang behind a dumpster, but I am gonna bother to shake your hand when we're done.
Oh, so there's pleasantries involved.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher brow.
Really, a name like Jacked is higher brow.
Jacked with an apostrophe, so no E. Jack apostrophe D.
Got it.
It's
okay.
Jacked.
I see. Yeah. Because it wouldn't be techie if they didn't spell
it. Exactly. The thing about Jacked, practically speaking, is that your profile has 3 pictures, whereas Grindr only has 1.
Ooh, because there's the elusive good photo.
Yeah, well...
Everyone can take a good... There are some really big chicks that get the right angle of their face, and their body's blurred, and you can't tell if they're the size of a hippopotamus.
I mean, if you get the right angle of my 83 Toyota Tercel, it'll look like a Maserati, right?
No.
Yeah? No?
No.
Okay, well...
What is the right angle of herpetic body?
There is not. Turn away. Turn away in disgust.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever you have, sir, it's worse than dick herpes.
Well, you could do what really homely people do on social media, which is have a picture of flowers. When there's no actual picture of them.
Kittens.
It's a sunset or a cat.
Yeah.
Woof, this person must be a shut-in.
Where were we going with this? Oh, so Jacked has 3 pictures. Grindr only has 1. So Grindr's more of a shot in the dark because you don't know exactly what you're wading into. But
how close are the people to the photo? A lot of times on the dating apps, I think it's gotten better, but people will put their best photo out there. Have you ever had a situation where there was like a really good looking person on the app, and then you meet them and they're fucking Quasimodo.
I mean, I haven't really met that many people off of app. I'm not the best. I'm not the expert here, but yeah, there's a lot of catfishing going on.
Really? So a completely different person.
Well, there's a lot of people soliciting pictures.
What's that mean?
So that means you set up a dummy account like you're about to do, which is super unethical, and you reach out to some hot guy that you see nearby, right? And you send a couple pictures of something you got off the internet. It's not even you. And the guy sends back a bunch of pictures of him. Well, you just save all those pictures, and they now go into your actual spank bank or whatever, and then in the future maybe you use those
so
pictures.
It's like a way to get like free porn.
Exactly.
That's a little bit more. It's got a story behind it.
It's more personal.
Yeah. Okay, got
so
it. Because the dude sent it to you.
Yeah. So the people who are soliciting pictures. So then they get pictures, and then maybe they use those to set up another dummy account, and they solicit even more pictures. So there's a lot of Russian bots,
picture horse,
operating out of their panel vans, just getting pictures. So that's weird. And then sometimes you'll see like the same pictures but under a different account because somebody took some dude's pictures and is now using them as a different account. So there's weird stuff like that. The other thing that's funny is that sometimes I think people think that a picture makes them look good and it doesn't. I have this picture of myself that at first blush I was like, oh wow, this is great. I'm in a Speedo and I'm doing this awesome bungee jump. So I thought like, oh, this makes me look cool and buff. But upon further reflection, I look like I have freaking Marfan syndrome. The picture is compressed weirdly, so it looks like I'm all squatty and like my proportions are wrong. And I'm looking at this picture, I'm like, why did I send this to anybody?
And so people, you'd like show up in person, like, wow, your limbs are of proper proportion.
Yeah, like
I was expecting a little person with Marfan.
Your hands actually go past your belly button.
You're not in my wheelhouse.
Good for you.
I'm kind of looking for more the circus freak.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you didn't have an infant-shaped head.
So how does the whole scenario work? You open the app, and what happens? Are you swiping right and left like you would in a Tinder, or how does the whole scenario work?
No, it's set up geographically. So you go on and your profile will be on the top left because you're the closest to you. And then other people who are nearby will be ordered as pictures in kind of a column, a grid, in descending order based primarily on proximity.
So it's like concentric circles. Is there any rhyme or reason? It's purely distance is the rank?
Well, so you can set other criteria. You can say, I want people between the age of 19 and 25, which really means anybody between the age of 18 and 72, because everyone lies about their age on there.
Wow, you guys are such chicks.
Oh, super. Yeah. Or you can say, like, I'm looking for twinks, or I'm looking for bears or otters. You're going to want to learn what all these terms mean.
So if we set up the app, am I going to have to select all these things?
Well, you can. I mean, it depends how specific your tastes are.
Very.
So why don't you tell me, what are you looking for?
A herpetic thunk.
You already have that right here in the studio.
See, I my knowledge that you've dropped on me in the past, I'm trying to keep it.
Oh, no,
here.
I'm a twunk.
Twunk. I said thunk. I was close.
That's a twink.
What's a thunk?
I don't.
Is that anything?
I think that's when you drop something. It goes thunk.
Okay, so you open the app. You're like, I'm jonesing, but I don't want a handshake after, so I'm going Grindr.
Go Grindr.
I open the app and I get concentric circles. So now you look at you scope out the folks that are close, like what, 5 or 10 folks, or.
No, you'll get. They want you to upgrade for the, it's a freemium model, right? They want you to pay for access to the broader range of dudes. But the free service, you'll have like 50.
Meaning farther away, broader range of dudes, or they just give you more results?
I think it's farther away, but you can.
Who wants to drive that far for sex behind a dumpster?
Well, I mean, if you're bringing your A game, they're going to come to you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if it's farther away because you could go on there and say, I'm looking for guys in Milwaukee. Because let's say you're going on a business flight to Milwaukee tomorrow and wife's not going to know that you're staying at the Holiday Inn Deluxe and maybe you want a little dude sandwich.
I see what you're doing.
While you're on your business travel, which by the way, happens.
Cleveland does that for me. Every time I'm going to Cleveland, I'm
what
would go well with the bacteria in my hotel room is a man sandwich.
A man sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah, they're good in Cleveland. So anyway,
they're known for their steamers.
Yes. you say concentric circle, but it's actually, the screen is rectangular. So imagine a rectangle grid and you scroll down and then you can just click on one and it'll have the profile and you see the fake picture and then...
And does this mean they're online, like actively? Like
so that's a separate thing.
They're near a dumpster.
If they're currently at the dumpster, there will be a little green dot indicating that they're online right now.
Yes.
Or it will say last online 17 hours ago. So what happens is you see some hot twunk and you send him a picture of you jet skiing with your muscles, and then you wait and you cross your fingers and you check back every 5 minutes and you're like, damn, why hasn't he logged on? And then finally...
Does he have my Marfan photo?
Yeah, and then finally you see, oh my God, he's online right now.
Does it tell you if they've seen the photo?
It tells you if they've logged on. So,
which means they've seen it.
Right.
So that depresses the shit out of you.
Yes, that's where I'm going with this. So
wow.
You're sitting there and you're refreshing. It doesn't actually refresh, but just for the sake of drama, you're refreshing. You're like
14-year-old girls.
And it's like, oh my God, he's online. And then you wait and you're like, he must have seen it by now. Did he see it? Why did he respond? Why isn't he responding? Wait, refresh. Is my Wi-Fi working? Wait, he's not responding. Should I send a different picture? No, then I'm gonna look desperate. Just send a hey, dude. No, that sounds too forced. Send a hi with an emoji, like a smile face. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna send it. Oh God, he's logged off. Why am I so inadequate?
Oh.
That's what runs through my head every day. And now I have the added insecurity.
You know how we were talking about making that list of positives and negatives? Although the same is probably true of a Tinder.
It's
but that sounds
it's all the same. It's all the same.
I do not miss any of that shit. Being married is fantastic.
But that's not gay versus straight. That's single.
That's life. Yeah.
That's single.
You're
that's prowling versus monogamous.
I would do the same thing when I would meet a girl out back pre-social media, and I'd text her, and I'd be like, okay, she's definitely read the text by now. Why am I not getting text back? Oh, I'll text her back.
Right.
Oh, I won't because I'm not allowed to. I've thrown it out there. Now I have to wait 2 days. And
gotta look cool.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
That scene from Swingers. He burns through all the tape on her answering machine. She picks it up and says, "Stop calling." Just for the record, I'm largely joking about all of my involvement with this because I am actually in a serious relationship.
But I mean, you're in this world.
I can explain it.
Okay. Disclaimer. Asterisk.
Yes.
Duly noted.
Please. Also, I need to be...
I'm just curious, as someone so on the outside, and I have the same curiosity, like I said, with any of these dating apps, because I don't know how it functions. So what happened? Okay, so you picked out your guy that's within range, geographic range. Then what happens? Does it open up a text? Does it ask?
Yeah, then it's like a texting app. So then you'll send a couple pictures.
Do you have a go-to opening line? And please tell me it's not "Hey, dude." Please tell me it's not "Hi" emoji.
So you've got to do a little profiling, right?
Do you have like a funny opening line?
So let's say I have friends who are my age who are on the prowl, and let's say they're looking at a profile for some kid who's like 20, right? They're gonna want to sound hip and millennial and cool. So it's like,
do you say this is getting lit? Come hang out and we'll turn up.
Hey, what are you all up into? Emoji. As you can see, I know this stuff.
Watching you use emojis might make my year.
I don't have that button on my phone. I don't think it came with it. I don't know how those work.
Do you do like the colon close parentheses as your emoji? You don't actually use the real ones. You use the emojis from like 2006.
I can't even get that far. I'm doing pager code.
That's pretty much pager code.
Yeah, 143, bro.
So you open up you don't have a go-to opening line that works.
Well, again, we should not be talking about me here because we should bring in I have a friend who's much more of a Grindr.
I would love that.
Yeah. And he could talk you through all of this. I feel like we've kind of dipped the tip here. We've done the introduction, and maybe next time we'll bring in the A gay, because I'm D- at best, especially now that I've got this bizarre rash. We'll bring in an A gay who can walk you through the whole process and answer something. Because I'm not the person you want to ask. Like I should be cryogenically frozen until this herpes clears up.
We said a lot today. We learned too much, always too much. We learned the price of my secrets.
$8,350.
Yes, don't forget that 50, you son of a bitch.
I really want to know where that figure came from.
We learned about Grindr and how you got to chat it up, and if you're looking for a handshake after your coitus,
you should go to Jacked.
Go to Jacked.
But I also want to point out that all of the details we covered today on Grindr are just the prelude to the much more exciting round 2 when we will have my super gay, super Grindr friend here.
Would you say it's the fluff?
This was the fluff. I hope you're at least 3/4 chub.
Now, I also want to have a good friend of mine and yours on the show who did, I think, 2 or 3 tours of Iraq. Would it be awkward to have him talking about his tours of Iraq and the military with Fluffer Joe or Grindr? What was his name?
I like Fluffer Joe. I don't know if he's going to like that.
With Grindr Joe.
So we'll have Captain Phil and Grindr Joe next time.
On that note.
Thanks for listening to Wildcard. See live podcasts and pics from the show on Instagram and Facebook, or visit us online at wildcardshow.com.